Hello my crafty friends, and welcome to Party at Home with Diane. I'm Diane and I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Washington State. And if you could like, subscribe, and ring that little bell, I would surely appreciate it. And let's get started. So today's more of a technique day than doing a card day. And so I'm going to go over using your inks, your blending tools, and paper to get backgrounds. So here's what I like a moon card. This one I used a die and made it look like clouds, just using the die and the ink and the blending tool, all the way up to cards like these using multiple inks and your blending tool. So let's get started. So first of all, when you do anything that cuts out shapes, like the picture this die set, when you go to make the Peekaboo Farm and you use it, save your little dies, save those little cutouts, because you can use those as templates, you can use them for other things. So don't get rid of your itty bitty pieces and your cutouts, because you can find a use for them. So let me get that put away. So for this card, I had a circle that I had cut out for something, and it's a pretty big circle. I got a bunch of cards here, these for examples. So normally the topper card is cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I leave mine a little bit larger. I leave mine the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 so I can cut it down. Sometimes I like the rough edges where it shows, here on this one, where it shows the darker around the edge. And sometimes I don't. Like on these, I wanted a more softer edge. So I cut this one down after I had used the colors, the inks. So this is one that I have. I just glued a good old Post-it note to the back, and as this one just gets non-sticky, I can just glue another piece on there. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to just use the Balmy Blue. And when I'm doing these types of sky cards, I am getting better. I feel a lot better today, so thank you for everybody that sent me well wishes. I am feeling better. I still have rumbles in my chest. They said that my lungs are going to take a long time to heal, but I am feeling better. I'm not coughing as much. I'm not sniffling as much. I still do a little bit, but not as much. And so I am so happy that I'm finally, I think after 3 months, getting over that hump of that silly virus. So let's get started. So on these I go side to side. I like to see how the clouds kind of go over top of the moon. So I'm going to start on the side, tap it off a little bit, and then pull it from side to side. Because, you know, that's just kind of how the clouds look when they're moving. And I'm just going to go side to side. Now, start off lighter, and you can always go darker, but you can't go darker, or you can't go lighter from the dark. Now see how it's getting that edge on here? Now if you have one of the Tim Holtz glass mats, you won't get this. For some reason it just goes over so smooth that you don't get this. I'm just not using mine today. So there you go. And so what I do is I just put my finger on the edge and peel it up and see how I like that. I want the bottom just a little bit darker. Pardon my hand here. I'm going to pull this off, and then I'm going to take it, and without adding any more ink, I'm just going to swipe it across. Might need a little bit more ink. Tap it off and swipe it across. And you'll see it gets that, makes it look like the clouds are going in front of the moon. I don't have a gray stamp, or ink I mean. This would look really pretty if you did the balmy blue really light and then went over it with a gray, which I think would just be beautiful. But I don't have one. So this is the first card here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish it off. Okay, so here I have the Meadows die set, and here's all the dies. So you get 13 dies in here, and you also get a sentiments die, which I really like. And it has a little tag, it has 2 butterflies, and so this is just a really great die set. I didn't even buy the stamps. I just bought the die set. And so on here, on this card, I cut it, this one is in black, and I cut out the shapes and laid them on top. This one I used Evening Evergreen because I had run out of black, and used that over the top. And I think that just comes out really nice. So on this one, I cut it out in the basic white and colored it. So I colored it with my stamping blends. I used the light polished pink and the dark polished pink and the light mossy green, and colored them up. For the pearls in the center, I used the Pearl Basic Jewels. You get 140 in a pack, which that's an awful lot. And what's really nice about these is, I don't know if you can see it, but I colored this one with my stamping blends in the light Daffodil Delight. And so you can color them. It comes out this really pale, soft color. I had originally thought I was going to color these in yellow in the Daffodil Delight, and then I changed my mind. So where is my finished card, my card? So I just on this one went all the way down to the bottom, coloring it from side to side. And now I can put my flowers on here. And then just trim these off once I have them on the card. And how quick and easy is that? Just using your inks and your papers. So for the sentiment, I used Here's a Card and May Your Heart Find the Peace It Needs. I like this one because it has a whole bunch of different sentiments on it. And then to cut it out, I used the rectangle stitched dies, and I used this one right here. And it just gives it that little stitching edge all along the side. And how neat is that? I mean, easy peasy pudding pie, right? When I first wanted to do the blends, I was so intimidated and just kind of freaked out a little bit because it looks really hard, but it's not. They are so fun. So next we're going to do some clouds. And so this one, I use the basic borders, and I use this die right here because to me that looked like clouds. So I'm going to just lay this on here And the piece that comes off right here, you can also use this as clouds too. So I'll use that one in a little bit. So I'm still using my balmy blue. I'm gonna tap it off. And so this one I'm gonna do in circles, and I'm gonna do this one a little bit crooked. So I'm gonna start here and just go a little crooked. And I'm just gonna go along the edge. And it doesn't look like much, but trust me, when you get it and move it, it really looks like a lot once you get going. So next I'm just gonna scooch. So let's see, how do I want to do this one? I'll do this one here, like this. So just give it at an angle and just go right along the edge, because it's going to catch, the ink is going to catch right on that little lip. And now I'm going to turn this one this way. And if you give it that little bit of room, so you're going to get that blending of the white and the blue to make it look like clouds. So look at that. Isn't that just so cool? I am in love with this with this one die. I have used it so much on so many cards just to give it that little background and layers up. And you can scoot it so you don't have to just use that one edge. Get a little darker down here. I mean, I could play doing this all day long actually, because you know, crafting is my therapy. Not that I need therapy, well, some people, my brothers and sisters might say I do, but I mean, how cool is that? And then you can use your other dies or your other stamp sets. Here's the Peekaboo Farm, and you can see this is where I use the clouds in the background going, you know, darker, lighter, moving them around, and you get this nice cloud effect. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to flip this one over. And now I'm going to do the same thing, but using this one. And it gives it just a little bit of a different effect. I'm going to do it sideways here. It just kind of gives it kind of like, I don't know how to describe these ones, but it's just different. Oop, I got it moved there. Pardon my fingers, my arms. You could use it as mountain, like a mountainous background. So there you can kind of see the difference. But, and if you don't like it so white, go across and then just give it a little bit. It'll just darken, blue and the lighten. I don't know what I'm saying. It'll make it so it's not so white. It'll give it just this hint of light blue in the background so it's not so stark white like you have here. But I kind of like that, where it's darker and lighter. Just gives you all the different shades. So again, that was using this die right here in the basic borders. I just think that one's so cool. So now we've gotten two. We've gotten the moon. We've got clouds. Now let's do a sun. So I'm going to use a little, where did it go? A little one from the Picture This. When I cut this out for this card here, I saved all my little round pieces and I can use those as templates now. So this one is from this piece right here. So now I have a sun template. So I'm going to move these. I'm going to get out the yellow. And it is just a matter of playing. I took out some copy paper and just started playing around. My husband and I were watching a movie one night, and I just took my colors, my inks, and went upstairs and just started playing while we were watching the movie. It was just a movie he wanted to watch, and I don't really like up those big bang up shoot 'em up movies, and so I crafted. So this is about where I want my sun to go. So I'm going to start here and just make a sun. And you're like, well, that's an okay sun. Well, it is, but it's not really a circle. And I wanted my sun a little bit more circle-y. So I could have put the Post-it on the back here. I just haven't yet. So there's my sun. Now I can go around it, and I'm going to make it darker around the edge. And so I'm just going to hold it with my finger and make it darker. And voila, now you've got a sun. You can take it a step further. Oh, and this was the Daffodil Delight. So now you can take it a step further, grab your pumpkin pie. Was it pumpkin pie? No, it was Mango Melody. I want my Mango Melody. I think I'm going to use that color. So I'm going to grab this, tap it off so it's not so dark, and now I'm just going to go around that in the Mango Melody. And it's going to tone down that yellow, or that Daffodil Delight. And so then next, I'm going to use some real red. I'm going to ink it up. Tap some of it off so it's not so dark. And I'm just going to go in right around the edge. And I like to swirl these a little bit because to me it makes it look like an angry sky. Like the sun's out, but it's not going to last very long. I'm going to come back in with my Mango Melody, go over top of that. And so it's just playing with the colors. I find that these colors kind of work really good for the I don't know what I call the angry sky. Now I'm just doing a little tiny portion here, but you would want to do, like on this one, you would want to use a bigger circle and bring it more towards here so you can get more color depth. But again, it's just playing with the colors. And now look at that. You could go all the way across with the red and you would have this beautiful sun with like an angry sky or getting close to sunset. And then you can come in with a little bit of the purple. This one is the Gorgeous Grape. And just, I like to pounce it off and then just go over that. Oh, I have ink all over my fingers. You'll want to make sure you don't have ink all over your fingers. You could also use the, is it the Pacific Point? No, it was the Night of Navy. You can also use the Night of Navy to go around if you didn't want to use this, you know, so give it a darker color. And then just kind of blend it all together. Then you can come back over with your mango. Blend it a little bit. Oh, laundry's done. Whoops! Didn't want that color. Smush it off, go back in here. But I mean, it's just plain. And if you don't like it, I mean, this one I made kind of messy. Really messy. I don't know, I just seem to get ink all over my hands lately. Get these out of the way. But you can see here, just work on it and blend it. Bring it out. And this, I just went along the purple, the grape on the outside, and then just around the top. Because when you mix the grape with the Mango Melody, it's going to turn kind of this muddy brown. So you don't want to get it too muddled across there. So this was the first one that I did, and then this one's the second one. So, you know, here you can see the reds. It's got more of the oranges. I just made them bigger around. And once you get, I'll use these because I have these cut out for another card. But once you start layering these on, you're not gonna notice the differentiations in the swirls, down here, because those become less of a focal point. Up here they're the focal point, but down here the stamps, the die cuts, take the focal off down here. So if you don't really like it down there, it's not going to be a big deal. I had right here, it got really, really dark and I didn't like it. I just put a sentiment. So once you get these on here, however you want to arrange them, isn't that cool? I really like this stamp set a lot, or this ink blending technique a lot. I've done that with other cards. You'll see when I did the lighthouse cards, I did a bunch of ink blending that way. Here's one that I did with the lighthouse stamp set that was from last season's catalog, and I made just a white sun using the Mango Melody around the edge, and then just really lightly across. So that was another one. I think I have gotten rid of all my cards. So anyway, that's the tip. Happy stamping, and I will see you soon. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Happy stamping.